Good afternoon, my name is Matthew Sears. I'm with Spring Fire Department. Today I'll be giving you an instructional over donning PPE and how to check it off in the morning. We're going to be starting off with the air pack. This is a Scott pack with a 45-minute bottle. We're going to start off, the first thing we're going to do is come over here and we'll be looking for the lights to come on. It should turn green and then blue, indicating that we have a full battery. If we come in the morning and check this off and it's red or dead, we want to go ahead and change it right here. Need a Phillips screwdriver and 6 AA batteries. You'll go ahead and change those. You'll check that every morning. Before I turn my bottle on, I'm going to check my straps. I'm going to check my air hoses. I'm going to check my air regulator to check that it's in the off position. I'm going to come back here and ensure that my bottle is secure. And then I'm going to turn it on. Stop it. All right, ready? Action. And then I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to take note of my bottle pressure. It says it's about 4,200 PSI. I'm going to compare that to my handheld pressure gauge. Make sure that they're within the proper, within the proper distance. It sounds like go ahead and wait for the pass alarm to go off. Once I know it goes off on its own, I'm going to check it manually. Next, I'm going to turn off my bottle. Now I'm going to ensure that my mask fits properly. You want to ensure that I have the proper seal. As I'm breathing the last bits of air, I'm checking my heads-up display to make sure that all lights light up and that it signifies the proper amount of air with what I have on my gauge. And I'm going to turn my pack off. I'm going to inspect my mask. I'm going to check it for cracks, scratches. I'm going to make sure that the seal is in proper form with no cracking or breaking to my seal. Next, I'm going to check out my helmet. I'm going to ensure there's no cracks, that it's fully intact. I'm going to make sure that my protective lenses are intact with no cracks and that they fold properly. I'm going to ensure that my helmet light is working. I'm going to ensure that my tetrahedrons are still reflective. My chin strap, I'm going to make sure that it's intact and that it's ready to go. I check my hood to make sure that it's clean. I make sure that there's no breaks in the material, that it's completely intact. Okay. Next, I'm going to check out my jacket. Make sure that the inner liner is attached properly and that it's fully intact. I'm looking for tears, holes, anything like that. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to make sure that the outer shell is clean, intact. I'm going to make sure there's no holes, abrasions. I'm going to make sure that my nameplate is secured. Next, I'm going to make sure that my radio is working before I put it in my jacket. I'm going to turn it on. We're going to make sure that I have full battery.
Northcom.
That I have the correct radio, which is 73 Delta. I'm going to do a radio check to Northcom. to ensure that my mic works. I'm going to ensure that I'm on the right channel. I'm going to ensure that talk around
off.
is on.
Talk around on.
I'm going to make sure that my radio is not locked. Make sure that my cord is intact without any breaks or abrasions. If I find anything like this where the antenna is split, I'm going to write it up on PS tracks and send it to the proper authority. I'm going to make sure that my radio clip is working. As I put it in the jacket, I'm going to make sure that my cord is not exposed. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my clip like so. We have that ready to go. Next, a flashlight. Ensure that it has a bright stream, which this does not. Alright, and that right there is exactly the reason why we check up our PPE, because we never know what the guys did the day before, what they don't know about their equipment. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on, make sure that we have a bright stream. We're going to make sure that every function on the stream light works. And then we're good to go. We're good to put it in our jacket. After we put this in our jacket, it's a good time to make sure all the Velcro works, that all your clips are in proper order. Next, we're going to make sure that our bailout kit is in proper order. We're going to check our carabiners, make sure that they're locking properly. We're going to check our bailout hook to make sure that it's intact, it's tied properly. We're going to make sure that the rope is not frayed. We're going to check the carabiner and what it's connected to and make sure that the rope is not frayed as well. Next, we're going to pull out all of our rope, check for frays, cuts, any abrasions, anything like that. After we're done checking that, we'll place our bailout kit in our pocket. Going to ensure that our carabiner is locked to our belt, secured in place, we're ready to go. Next, we're going to check our gloves. We're going to make sure they're clean. We're going to make sure there's no tears, abrasions, any holes in them. We're going to ensure that the leather is intact. We're going to ensure they're loosened so we can get them on easily and properly. Doing the same thing to this glove. Next, we're going to go ahead and check our pants. We're going to make sure our suspenders are loose enough so that we can get them on. We're going to take a look at our bailout belt, make sure there's no twists in it, make sure there's no tears, no abrasions. Make sure it's loose enough so that we can get it on properly. Checking for any tears in my suspenders. I'm going to check the liner to ensure that it's properly connected. Make sure there's no holes in it. Make sure that it's clean. There's no abrasions, anything like that. I'm going to do the same thing for the outer shell, making sure there's no tears, making sure there's no abrasions, making sure it's all intact. I'm going to check my boots. I'm going to make sure there's no penetrations in the leather. Make sure that my liner is properly up so that I can get my boots on easily. Okay. Next, I'm going to turn on my tick. I'm going to ensure that I have the proper tick, engine 73 Charlie. I'm going to wait for it to load. Now that it's up, I'm going to ensure that it has the correct date on it. I'm going to check and make sure that the temperature is in the correct range. I'm going to check that I have a full battery. I'm now going to demonstrate how to properly don PPE. As you can see, as most firemen, I have my pants in the ready position. All I have to do is place one foot in one boot, one foot in the other. Going to pull it up by the pants. Make sure you don't pull it up by the suspenders, as you could rip them. I'm going to take the time to ensure that I have two methods of securement. Every time I attach the Velcro, I should be clipping something. Going to bring my suspenders up. Then I'll secure my belt. When I put this on, I should be able to bend down without my pants coming up, exposing any of my skin. Next, I'll put on my hood. I like to keep my hood over my head so that it doesn't get lost in my coat when I put it on. Next, I'll put on my coat. I'm going to make sure I get my thumbs through the holes right here so that we don't have any problems with that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have two methods of securing it. So I have that on. It's time for my mask. I'm also going to have a partner. When I bend over, make sure that there's nothing showing in the back, no skin showing in the back, nothing like that. Next, I'll put on my mask. Make sure that I have a proper seal before I do anything else. All I'm doing is placing my palm on the corner of the mask. I'm breathing in, and I shouldn't get air in from anywhere else. Next, I'll place my hood over my mask. In the standing position, this is how I'll put on my SCBA pack. I'll come over here, turn it on. And turn it on. And then I'm going to perform it over the head SCBA donning. I'm going to tighten all my straps. A big mistake I see guys make is this right here where they put the straps over the regulator. Don't do that, you're going to have a bad time. I'm going to tighten my straps so that my straps are resting on my hips. When wearing an SCBA, you want it to be on your hips. You don't want the weight on your shoulders or on your back. Next, I'm going to put on my helmet. Clip it. What I like to do right here is just make sure that I have that seal at the bottom of my chin. Next, I'm going to don my gloves. Going to tighten my gloves.
Passport check. Now I'm ready to go.
All right, now before we start, everyone's going to go through their own evolution of donning their own PPE. Does anyone have any questions before we start?